The last AEW Dynamite before All Out is in the books. One more stop at AEW Rampage this Friday. But CM Punk gets physical, and it's not against Darby Allen. Very surprised tonight. Plus, Chris Jericho says he's not going to retire. He doesn't want to do it. We'll see what's going to happen. Plus, a lot of stuff went down on NXT this week. We're going to talk about all of it tonight on The Debrief.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Sportskeeda Wrestling's The Debrief, the only show that reviews NXT and AEW Dynamite. I am your host, Jose G. Next to me, the top chico himself, Rico el Glorioso. What's going on, broski? What did you think of tonight's AEW Dynamite, the last one before All Out?
So good, man. Of course, we got our boys, Proud and Powerful, finally getting the win over FTR. A solid match in the women's division between Ty Conti and Super Bad Penelope Ford.
Great match.
The main event, a great main event, which technically felt more like a 4-on-2 because the Good Brothers didn't get involved too much, but it didn't matter because it was still a great match and a whole bunch of shenanigans that just makes you wonder, how's everything going to play out this Sunday at All Out? But what did you think?
Especially, I thought both shows were pretty good. I thought AEW was a little bit better. A lot of stuff kind of like made me ask some questions, especially towards the closing of the show. But we're going to jump into all of it, into AEW Dynamite and NXT. Before we get started, guys, as per usual, make sure you are subscribing to our Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. We just surpassed our 20,000 goal, and now we have a new goal of 30,000 subscribers. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button, smash that notification bell. If you're watching us on Facebook, give us that share in your favorite wrestling group and tag your friends in the comment section so they can join in on tonight's show and discuss at tonight's topics. So we got tons of stuff going on. Engage with the show, hit that thumbs up, the heart emoji, the laugh emoji, the angry emoji, and sound off in the comments on what you thought of AEW Dynamite tonight. Lots of stuff went down. All Outs this Sunday. We're going to have tons of exclusive content dropping this weekend ahead of AEW Dynamite. Plus, on the post show, we will have live coverage from Chicago at the Now Arena. Kevin Kellum will be there in Chicago to do some coverage. So that's all going to be dropping this weekend ahead of All Out. So make sure you guys are tuning in and sharing. So Rico, let's jump into AEW Dynamite because that show was hot. The go-home show for Dynamite right before All Out. Overall, before we jump into all the matches, what did you think of the overall show? Did everything make sense to you? I felt like that ending, like tonight with the cage coming down at the end. I'm like, well, what? I understand that they're trying to get heat and all that, but like, was that really necessary? I mean, you already took him out with kendo sticks. You already took him down. You already got the upper hand. Then you got an even more heelish Kenny Omega coming in with that dark black dyed hair and the dark black dyed beard, right? Looking all, like a 007 villain. And, and I get it. I get it. He's trying to get heat, but I just didn't think bringing down the cage at the end there was necessary, especially when you're cutting out on TV time,
Yeah, I think really it was to show us kind of what this cage looks like because it feels like it's much taller than like a traditional cage that we see, for these cage matches. But really is to show, when Alex Abrahantes tried to get the backup for the Lucha Bros and for Christian Cage, and you saw like Frankie Kazarian, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt all get sprayed off. Like it feels a lot taller. And it's like a lot harder for people to get into. So I think this was kind of like a preview of, this isn't your standard cage. This is actually much taller, and it goes to show you that the reason why they're going to have Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in this cage for that AEW Tag Team Championships to show why they're using this cage, because it's going to be much harder for people to actually interfere and get involved with. So I think there was a nice little subtle way of letting us know, okay, this is kind of what we're dealing with this match on Sunday. So I don't know who's jumping off the top of that thing, if it's going to be Nick or Ray or both at this point, but that looks like it's going to be really, really dangerous. But yeah, I think they really try to sell us so much on that mat that we always talk about, like on the go home show that, whoever stands tall is probably going to lose. it feels like they're going so hard with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks beating down all these guys to make us suspect that Christian Cage might pull off the double upset, get both titles, that the Lucha Brothers might get that upset over the Young Bucks and taking away the tag team titles. But knowing AEW, they like setting it up, but they're always going to find a way to swerve us. So I think that's really what they were trying to do. So kind of like two birds, one stone.
You know, and it almost kind of like makes me like just playing devil's advocate, right? You know, sometimes it's hard for me to kind of like suspend my disbelief when it comes to wrestling. And this, you know, when it comes to AEW is no different, especially since Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, they're EVPs of the company. Mm-hmm. They're the ones, you know, booking these matches on who goes over. And so I'm always a little concerned, even though Tony Khan has said repeatedly that he has creative control and he books the matches. And just time and time again, tonight was a great example. I mean, the Young Bucks got a solid win. If you really want to create a little bit of buzz, maybe the Lucha Bros should have gotten the win tonight, you know, or maybe Jurassic Express should have gotten the win tonight and then have the Bucks retain on Sunday, you know, something like that. But I don't know. I just felt like unless you're really going to drop the titles or going to have some major title changes on Sunday, I don't know. I guess I'm being a little nitpicky about it, but I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get it. It's just, I feel because of the Young Bucks getting the win personally, I think Kenny's going to retain. And I think the Lucha Brothers are finally going to get those much deserved tag team titles because of how it ended, because of the Young Bucks getting that win and because of them getting beat down. And just like Steven Chambers brought up here in the comments, imagine how many super kicks in the match. Imagine how many super kicks happened afterwards when Nick Jackson was just super kicking both of the Lucha Brothers back and forth, like just consistently. So I think this is to really set up that match more than it is with the Kenny and Christian Cage. So I'm hoping that's what that is. I hope this is the setup for, you know, the swerve with Kenny still retaining over Christian Cage. But because of that cage itself, the Lucha Bros, I really hope they get that win. Because
I'm hoping so too. I'm hoping so too. We know what kind of matches they can put on against the Young Bucks. If you guys saw the original All In a few years ago, you know that match with Pentagon and Kenny was amazing. You know what these guys can do with each other. So definitely looking forward to that matchup. But let's talk about the opening matchup, man, because FTR faced off against Santana and Ortiz, those New Yorkers or Boricuas representing, and Santana and Ortiz getting a solid win on FTR. Now, let's take note here. We haven't seen FTR in a match in well over a month. It's been well over a month. Santana has had some matches, and Ortiz, I think Santana had some matches in both and Ortiz, maybe here and there, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, but it's been at least well over a month since we've seen FTR in the ring.
Yeah, because Cash Wheeler is the one that had his hand injured in the original match between FTR and Santana and Ortiz. And then the next match we got was Santana versus Dax Hardwood, where I think Dax got the win. So while he was recovering, that's why both of you guys haven't been on TV for a while. So it was great to hear that, you know, that Cash was at least cleared enough for this match. And to really, you know, the storyline continues, but this time, finally, Proud and Powerful finally get that win back over FTR. And who knows, hopefully, again, this is us being a little bit biased when it comes to, at least with my dream booking. So imagine the Lucha Brothers getting the win and getting those titles. And we had that matchup of Santana and Ortiz versus the Lucha Brothers for those tag team titles where I wouldn't know which way to go. Like, I'd be torn
for a brief moment. So I started watching like 5 or 6 minutes in because I'm binge watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now, right? So I started a little bit late when I see who's on screen. I thought for a split second that was God, bro. The Gorillas of Destiny, because of that black and white makeup with the face paint. Yeah. So great look for Proud and Powerful. Great win for both Santana and Ortiz. Yes, I absolutely agree here with Steven Chambers saying Santana and Ortiz deserves to wrestle the winner of Bucks and Lucha Bros. Yes, 100%. Yes, I agree with you. I think they definitely deserve to be in that spot. But yeah, I think I think they did a really good job with Santana and Ortiz and FTR. But let's talk about the second segment of AEW Dynamite, which was this CM Punk promo. As you guys all know, CM Punk has a huge matchup, his return match against Darby Allen this Sunday at AEW's All Out. He was going to come and drop a promo. He started dropping a promo, then he gets attacked by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. They start laying on him. Darby Allen comes out. Sting comes out for the save. They all hit their finishers. It was like coffin drop, scorpion death drop, and GTS all at the same time. It was great to see the GTS back in the ring. I absolutely loved it. Then we had the intense face-off between Darby Allen and CM Punk, forehead to forehead. You can feel the tension in the air. Sting dropped a little promo with CM Punk, acknowledging, that he's respected it. Yeah, he has always wanted to be in the same ring with CM Punk. So there was a lot of significance. Tonight was a good night for CM Punk appearance. He got physical for the first time in 7 years in the ring.
Oof, yeah.
What was your take on this? I think this was a great segment.
Oh yeah. No, it's a good setup, and it was a nice rub from Sting. Because that's one of the things we always talked about. Like, CM Punk was gone before Sting returned, and of course got injured by Seth Rollins. So we never got to see a potential matchup of Sting versus CM Punk. But of course, this is not that time for this match. This is about the young generation going up against the old generation. So Sting did a good job of putting over not only CM Punk, but his boy Darby Allen. And he said, I respect you, and I respect you, clearing the obstacles, clearing the ring, because on Sunday, I'm going to be clearing the ring too. So it's just going to be you guys, one-on-one, mano-a-mano. I'm going to fist bump my boy, and I'm going to the back. So let you guys prove what you can do. So that was just a nice little setup to put these guys on that high of a platform where, Sting's not going to get involved. It's just going to be straight up one-on-one Darby Allen versus CM Punk to see if
it should be an exciting matchup. Yeah, it should be an exciting match, but that Darby Allen is probably going to carry the most of that matchup, though, because, ring rust is a real thing. You
can train all you want, but until you get in those ropes in front of that live crowd, because CM Punk look a little winded after a GTS, so you're still gonna have to carry it for a few more minutes after that.
We got Rico Chino, fellow colleague here at Sportskeeda Wrestling. You guys can check him out every Friday night after SmackDown on the post show with AEW Dynamite as well. Rampage. Sorry about that. He's saying, "Give me Sting versus Punk at some point." I don't know, man. Who's going to carry who in what match right there, right? Like, because Punk hasn't been in the ring for 7 years. Sting hasn't wrestled a full match besides that cinematic match that he had last year in quite some time. So, like, who's going to carry who? Who's going to make who look better? I don't know if I want to watch that, Rico.
It's unless they do like a cinematic match, kind of like AJ Styles and Undertaker. Like, it feels like with those two older guys trying to be in the ring together. Give it a few months, maybe, CM Punk can get that, gas tank going the way he used to have it. So I think we can get to that point. I just don't think it's going to be the kind of match we expected. Like, it's just going to be, a prove yourself match as opposed to like Sting turning heel or CM Punk turning heel. So it'll just be a whole prove yourself thing, which I say we'll probably get a few months from now, but not anytime soon. You got to let CM Punk get his gears turning back in that ring before we try to put him up.
I'm interested to see if he's going to change up his in-ring style a little bit, just to kind of make up for the time that he hasn't been in the ring. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to do a lot of the stuff that he did before, like the top rope elbow drop or, running pump knee in the corner, certain high risk moves that he was able to do with ease. It's been 7 years that he's been in the ring. Not saying that he not able to, but again, it'll be interesting to see if that happened. Sting can still do a scorpion death drop, so
yeah. And at the same time, like, you have a prime example of somebody that can change their style in ring in one Christopher Jericho, who had to develop, a new set of, a new moveset, as you will, because he's not the young Lionheart. He's not Corazon de Leon. He's old man Jericho, so he had to have a more of a brawler style. So if there's anybody that CM Punk can kind of relate to, it could be to Jericho and kind of like pick his brain and see what it's like changing up your style after so long away. But Victor Nash points it out in the chat, though. CM Punk has been training with one Malachi Black. So if there's somebody that's, agile enough to keep you loose in that ring with his moveset, it is one Malachi Black, a.k.a. Tommy End. So who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us and he'll still be able to do the same things. The same thing like Daniel Bryan. He does his same, comeback moves where he does the backflip over the turnbuckle and does the running things. CM Punk might be able to do that if he keeps training, especially with the likes of Malachi Black. So he might surprise us. He might surprise us with what he can do.
We've got an interesting comment here from Blue Collins. He's saying, like, if you're a casual fan, would you be hooked from that kind of show? Like, just from that segment, if you're a casual fan that used to watch it back in the day, would you be hooked on AEW? Because there are some people that are not casual fans that are the hardcore fans that are always going to be the base of AEW, right? But to really catch that casual fan that left 10 years ago per se, right? That segment that we had tonight, that nice segment with Darby, Sting, CM Punk, is that enough to bite in and bring those casuals back?
I think that's the start. But if you keep watching, then you start seeing what happens. Like, for instance, later on, we'll just jump ahead a little bit. Paul Wight was in the ring, and he got betrayed by Billy Gunn. So if those are two names that you remember from way back, you see this and we're like, wait, what happened? Paul Wight apparently is the baby face, and
I
so
almost
is Billy Gunn.
I almost felt like I was watching a segment from WWF Monday Night Raw in 1999. just from that segment, like I feel like that might have happened at some point back in the day, 20 years ago. That's maybe probably happened. But what's the motivation here? Why did Billy Gunn turn his back on Paul Wight? Is he aligned now with QT Marshall in the factory? I don't know, but we are going to see Paul Wight in the ring on Sunday against QT Marshall. Are you excited for this match? There really hasn't been that much of a buildup. It's only been like maybe 2 or 3 weeks worth of a buildup in this match, or 2 or 3 episodes, I should say. And it's been okay, but I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about this match quite yet.
I mean, literally looking at the rest of the card, this is the one match that doesn't have me hooked. Like all the other matches on the all out card, even the women's casino battle royale, because seeing the names that are going to be in there, and we pretty much know who the Joker is going to be in one Ruby Soho. So like, I'm intrigued by how that's going to play out. I'm intrigued by every match, literally except for this one, because like you said, it hasn't been as built up. It's essentially, the Big Show having his in-ring return, which is awesome, going up against QT Marshall, and it's like they wanted to have Billy Gunn be the Big Show now. Kind of, he's the one that's going to be the babyface heel turning, like maybe every once in a while, because it felt like that earlier on when him and the Gun Club got started on AEW. But other than that, it hasn't been too much to hook us into it. Other than it's not Cody versus QT finally, but now it's Big Show. It's Paul Wight. So I mean, he's just gonna go in there, probably weapon of mass destruction, and that's it, or chokeslam. So I can't imagine this being too impressive of a match, but it's good to see him back in ring. So he's able to still throw it down, and we'll see.
Unless they're trying to put make QT one of the top heels in the company, and have a veteran put him over like Big Show. You could definitely see some interference in this matchup, right? Like Nick Comoroto can come on in and cause some issues, and Aaron Solo can do the same thing. So
the Gun Club now.
The Gun Club. So I think there's definitely a lot here going on in such a little amount of time. This turn tonight was really unexpected. So I think it almost looks like they have some bigger plans for QT, and Paul Wight is kind of like the key to get to that place. So we'll see how this pans out on Sunday. I'm not 100% sure about that, but let's see how it goes on Sunday. We did have a couple of few more matchups that we saw tonight on Dynamite. We had Orange Cassidy go up against Jack Evans. He got a win via pinfall. We also had Powerhouse Hobbs go up against Brian Cage, getting the win against Brian Cage with the help of Ricky Starks. He hit him with the FTW title belt. Then we had an awesome women's matchup. The best matchup I've seen to date that has no stipulations to it, discarding Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, Penelope Ford, and Ty Conti tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That matchup, perfect. That match was great. You can see the improvement that Tay Conti has done this last year. Same thing I can say for Penelope Ford. Penelope made Conti look like $1 million. Ty Conti did awesome as well. making Penelope Ford look like $1,000,000 as well. We also got to see the return of Anna Jay tonight after Ty Conti won. She got ambushed by Penelope and the Bunny. Anna Jay returned from Dark Order member, bestie with Ty Conti. Man, this matchup was great. I always knew that Ty Conti was special. She had something. They just really never gave her a chance in NXT to succeed. And now you're really seeing what she's doing. She had a great match in the mid card. I think she's going to do something big in the next year or two in AEW. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Just like you said, like we've seen her in NXT perform, and it feels like she's gotten more comfortable into who she's trying to be, especially in ring. And I think that's starting to finally show in these kind of matches. And we've been talking about Penelope Ford, where she's really been like under the radar, but she's steadily improved every single time because she's had all these matches, especially on Dark and Elevation, where she's gotten these wins. She's really starting to develop herself, even outside of having Kip Sabian in her corner, who's still recovering from his injury. So this was a great display for both of these women to show that, A, they should both have a good showing at the Casino Battle Royale, but two, that they can be potential winners of this thing. And if not win this time, they could be in the title picture, especially Ty Conti, like you said, in about a year or two, especially once you get through everything, because you're going to have that huge feud again between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. We had Jade Cargill, who's looking dominant, who we saw a segment where it was announced after Anna Jay came out to make the save for Ty Conti that they're both going to be in the Casino Battle Royale. So while they're getting Thunder Rosa's opinion, she gets ambushed by Nyla Rose and Jade Cargill. Before they come to blows, they get separated. But you're already starting to see there's some heavy hitters. Finally, it took us this long, but the AEW Women's Division is really, really starting to heat up right now. It's gotten so much better with some of these matches, and then add in the names of like a Ruby Soho who's going to come in, or like Steven Chambers. Imagine if it happens to be Tessa Blanchard. If AEW ever comes to terms with her, that'd be another huge talent.
She'd get a loud pop. I think she'd get a loud pop. I think both Ruby and Tessa might get a loud pop. I don't know who would get the bigger pop, but both of them will get a decent pop Sunday night. Guys, if you're just joining us, let us know where you're watching us from. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share tonight's show. If you can't watch the entire show, make sure you check out the podcast version by subscribing to us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Go ahead and give us 5-star review and give us a thumbs up. So go ahead and check us out on the podcast feed as well. But jumping back into AEW Dynamite, we had a tremendous main event. Rico, Lucha Bros, and Jurassic Express going up against the Elite. We had the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers. Hell of a matchup. I thought it was very entertaining. Just like I said at the top of the show, the ending was a little confusing. There was no need to bring that cage down, and I think the Lucha Bros should have gotten that win to have the Young Bucks really retain, because that's probably what's going to happen. They're going to retain on Sunday. I don't know. I thought the closing thing with Kenny Omega was okay. I thought they could have elaborated more. Maybe they're going to leave us a little bit more for AEW Rampage. I don't know. What did you think? What did you think there?
I think it feels like they're not truly considering this as a go home. I think they are going to leave some stuff for Rampage, so that more people are willing to tune in to Friday night as like the final thing we see heading into All Out. So I think this is really, again, to just kind of establish that kind of, heel babyface math going into the matches at All Out to kind of subvert our expectations once we get to those matches. But man, we got some interesting comments here in the comment section. So Victor Nash asking, because they were talking about how Brian Cage, they feel like he shouldn't be booked the way that he's being. So Victor Nash asking, it should be Brian Cage versus Miro Sunday instead of Eddie Kingston. So what's your take on this match? Would you rather see the Mad King, or would you rather see the Machine versus God's favorite?
Before I get started on my weekly Wednesday rant about Miro, okay, let's all acknowledge that Miro is our TNT champion. He is God's favorite champion, and he is the Redeemer. Okay, now that that's all out of the way, I think that the match itself is going to be good. Okay, these guys can go. I think this is going to be a hard-hitting match. It's going to be entertaining. It could possibly steal the match of the night. However, there was really no buildup here. Miro just called him out on a promo. Kingston answered his promo. Then they started talking out of each other. I don't know. Now, why are you not on TV, Miro? You are the network's champion. You need to be on TV every single Wednesday night, every single Friday night. Your championship is more important than the World Heavyweight Championship that AEW has. You are the network's champion. Why are you not being featured on TV? You're doing and disrespecting Miro every single week, guys. You really need to be putting him in matches. He needs to be defending his title every single week. You did it for 10 weeks straight with Darby Allen. Why are you not doing it with Miro? The disrespect for Miro is 100% real, and I say it every single week here on this show, okay? Now, moving on to Brian Cage. I would have loved an angle. This match could have been a triple threat match. This could have been a three-way match. Brian Cage has nothing to do, and he really doesn't need to be doing anything more involved with Team Taz, okay?
Should be over with, man.
They've made it very well known they don't want them in their group or in their faction, yet he continues to fight all the members of Team Taz, right? He's trying to get that they made it clear they don't want him. But you know what? Move on, bro. Move on. You should have called out Miro. And if Miro was being called out and Eddie Kingston called him out, that could have been a beautiful three-way match at All Out. Brian Cage, Miro, and dude, that is a missed opportunity in my opinion.
Yeah, bro,
Eddie Kingston, Brian Cage, and Miro. That's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, you're getting all the likes right now here, and especially seeing it on YouTube. Sean, he wanted the Miro rant. He got it right there. And it's about saying it's Miro Day. It is. And James Fowler, you're right. He's doing great work right now, which is why Jose is so pissed off. And he has every right to be, because I agree. He should be on TV as a TNT champion. We saw Darby Allen. We couldn't get enough of Darby Allen every single week. Yet we're not doing that with Miro. We're only getting these like 1-2 minute video promos from him. And he should be either ending or starting off the second hour or being the main event every single week, just like Darby was, but you're not doing it with him. So they're giving us a little bit of what we want, but they're still not going all the way where they should to really feature one of the greatest talents that they have right now in God's greatest champion, the Redeemer. Granted, he gets to spend a little bit more time with his hot, flexible wife, but he needs to be featured on TV more as our champion, as our network champion.
Exactly. I mean, you get it. You guys that are watching at home on YouTube and on Facebook, you get it. You guys understand my frustration with this every single week. But man, it's shaping up to be a good show on Sunday. We'll see how Friday night goes on Rampage. But let's jump over to NXT because we still got to talk about the black and yellow brand that will be turning into the multicolored brand in just a few more weeks. But before we get into that, guys, go ahead and sound off in the comments. Let us know your rate for this week's NXT 1 through 10. Let us know how you enjoyed Dynamite. Are you looking forward to All Out? And speaking of All Out, we will be having tons of coverage this weekend for AEW All Out. We'll be having the prediction show. We'll be having a review show, the post show, tons of stuff. We're going to be live from Chicago at the Now Arena. So tons of stuff coming up this weekend ahead of All Out. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Smash that notification bell. Share tonight's show on Facebook in your favorite wrestling group and tag your friends in the comment section. It's super easy. Also, make sure you are engaging with the show. Give us that thumbs up, the heart emoji, the angry emoji, the laughing emoji. It doesn't matter. As long as you're engaging with the show, that's going to help us out. All right? And sound off in the comments. Let us know what your favorite part of AEW Dynamite and NXT was. So go ahead and sound off in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. We have James Valley here saying that a 7 for AEW Dynamite. That's actually one of the lowest AEW's scores that I've seen from the viewers.
I'm going to assume that James is saying that for NXT because at least for when it comes to Dynamite tonight, I'm going to give it it's right there 8.5 to 9 because this was a solid show. Like, love the opening match with Santana and Ortiz versus FTR with our boys getting the win. I love the final match, which again, like this was the show out for Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks because The Good Brothers was just there to run interference and then hit the Magic Killer on the outside later on. But the women's match was pretty good. The turn from Billy Gunn to Paul Wight was unexpected, so it's nice to see.
That was very unexpected.
Something surprising. And then we had some solid promos again from Chris Jericho and from MJF getting interviewed by Tony Schiavone, as well as the whole thing with Britt Baker is still going on with her and Chris Statlander. So she's gonna have a handicap match on Rampage heading into All Out. So I'm gonna give it a solid 8.5. I like that 8.5 to 9. That's like right there on the cusp. What about you?
Yeah, I think for I'm gonna say go home show. I'm gonna quote unquote on that, right? Because it's not really a go home show, but kind of like a go home show. I thought, like I said, just being from a nitpicky standpoint, I didn't think we didn't need to have the cage at the end. Also, I noticed something on every single match. Most of these matches had post-match attacks or ambushes, so that was a little bit of a little annoying for me. Yeah. So with that being said, I think I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8. There was some good stories there being told. Again, nitpicking about Miro. If Miro would have been on there defending his title and get a solid win, it probably would have been a 9.5 or something like
Miro
that.
on there, and you automatically put it into a 9.
Exactly. Just put Miro on there, and that's what you get. But we got some more people. JGS on YouTube, he's giving it a full-blown 10-ish. So 10-ish. Like so maybe 9.9999999.
If you round up,
it could be. Or if we round it up, it's 10-ish. We got Dale Munson on Facebook. He's saying he's got a 9 for AEW. And Victor Nash is a 10 for him. Good go-home show. So the fans have spoken. A lot of different scores out there. But let's jump into NXT this week. We got 2 more weeks ahead of us before we get into the new revamped, repackaged version of NXT, the multicolored version of NXT. What do you think of that new logo, Rico?
Just between seeing the logo,
do you like it? Do you not like it?
I like the idea of change. Like try to make it stand out. I mean, black and gold, obviously, I'm a fan of, especially being in Orlando and similar to a different team that I'm very near and dear to me. But it's the other news that we heard earlier today, and I know you discussed
the one that we broke earlier today about Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard producing. They're going to be producing the show from here on out,
and it feels like these next 3 weeks are going to be kind of like Triple H's last kind of hurrah, kind of like trying to put his boys on the best platform and the best view, like just in the best light for all of us to enjoy before things could probably take a drastic shift. So I'm excited for the change. It's the colors did catch me off guard. I'm not mad at the new logo. Like I like how sleek and the angular it is, but like I'm scared, man. I'm nervous because we had loved NXT and it's near and dear to us. Yeah. How many times we've been there. So going from the amazingness, like having those memories we've had of all of those NXT TakeOver Go Home shows that we've been able to be a part of, to like possibly turning into like Raw Light kind of scares me. So
Raw Light, SmackDown Light. I mean, who knows what this is going to be? I'm the one that I always keep an open mind when it comes to these things, because we've seen Raw revamped. We've seen SmackDown revamped. It's nothing new that WWE does, where they revamp their sets, revamp their logos, the company logos. Every so often you need to freshen things up. And I think that NXT was getting to that point, right? That they need to freshen things up. However, this news with Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard producing this show, I mean, it raises a little bit of an eyebrow for me, because this is Triple H's baby. It's almost like his baby is being literally ripped from his arms, so he doesn't have any type of parental control over it. And now Vince and Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard now get to do whatever they want with this show. So I think that the charm about it, was because Triple H knows how to really appeal to that hardcore wrestling fan, which is what the base of NXT is. You and I, we've been to plenty of those tapings. Like you mentioned before, we've been at those go-home shows. They're very electric. It gets loud. If you don't get over on an NXT crowd, you ain't getting over. Let's just put it like that. And it's just a little bit concerning to me. So we know that they can put on good storytelling when they want to, and right now it's happening more than we like it. But when they can get us hooked in on a good story, they're going to do a good job. So we'll just have to wait and see and keep an open mind. That's all I got to say.
The best storyline they have going on right now in NXT is Index. That is absolutely they have going on
100%.
And normally it's the NXT title picture or it's the NXT women's title picture that's always enthralling. Right now, the way and Index are carrying NXT when it comes to storylines. So that's the kind of thing that has me worried.
It's the most captivating one because Samoa Joe right now doesn't have anybody, right? He had an interview.
Challenging anybody who's willing to step up. Cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think they're just really stretching everything out until September 14th. We got the big wedding coming up on the 14th. But really nothing captivated me this week from NXT, to be honest with you, besides Index. We had that was a really good match with Gargano facing LA Knight. LA Knight getting the win over Gargano.
Yeah.
Thanks, unfortunately, to an unintentional distraction by Dexter Lumis. But Dexter Lumis is trying to communicate with Johnny Gargano. He's trying to be broskies. He's trying to be friends. He's trying to give him the high five like he used to do with Austin Theory, So he's trying to make that connection ahead of his wedding in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks. No, 2 weeks. And I think that was just the best part because Gargano, you see him reaching out. He's like, okay, I'm going to try to give him a try. And Indy is like, look what he's doing. He's interacting with you. Like, it's so good. Any other characters would have not been able to pull off this storyline. That's why it's so good. And then LA Knight getting that sneaky heelish win, walks away, and Dexter Lumis with that reaction, with the open eyes, he's just like, oh shit, like, oh wow, I made a mistake. Like, so it was just great. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and it just feels like this whole night was really, I guess, again, trying to give a nice little send-off for some of the older talents because we know the idea of the revamped NXT is going to be featured more around the newer, younger talent. Every match had an older vet with a younger person. So we did have Mandy Rose have her first match back in NXT in the losing effort against Saray because she got counted out after Saray hit that, I forgot what he called it, like the sunlight drop kick, when she's on the bottom rope and, to the face, which essentially knocked her out of the ring. And Gigi Dolan and JC Jane, got the tower and took away and she got counted out. We had a pretty solid match against Kyle O'Reilly, one of the best versus Duke Hudson. Like we had
that was actually a really good matchup. Duke Hudson's actually been impressing me a lot more every single time he comes out. He can really generate a lot of like nasty heat, like just people. You look at that guy and be like, I don't like that guy. Like that guy's just smug. He's an a-hole. He's exactly what he needs to be doing. And I like that he's doing that. And there was no shame to losing to Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly, he's a submission specialist. He got him with that nasty heel hook and made him submit.
Dragon man on the rope. Oh.
But he can go. Duke Hudson, watch out for Duke Hudson. I think that guy's going to be a big name in the next 5 or 6 years.
Oh, yeah. And that's like why, again, establishing this younger talent versus some of this older talent. We got to see Imperium defeat poor little Grayson Waller and Drake Maverick, which...
and these are the things that just not make me interested in watching, that part of NXT is like when you have Imperium and then you're putting them up against, someone like them. It's just like, okay, well, what am I going to do with my time? All right, I'm just going to be on my phone watching TikTok until this match is. Oh, Imperium won. Okay, good. I mean, that's how uninterested I was in that matchup.
You knew how it was going to play out, but it's to set him up, man. They have to bring back Walter. Like, we had a nice interview with Ilya. Of course, the general has fallen, and now long live the Tsar. So that was a nice little send-off for him to go back to NXT UK as their champion. Like, we have to give back Walter, right? Like, we're getting Kylie Ray. I always wanted to say Kaylee Ray, like the other one. That's I always get mixed up. Kaylee Ray and Kylie Ray.
It's Kylie Ray, right?
Kaylee Ray.
Kaylee Ray.
The two names are
God
so
damn it.
similar, but you know who you guys know which one I'm talking about.
Yes, yes,
But
we know.
So now she's actually looks like she's going to be full-time with NXT Prime here in the US, and she basically called out the entire roster and just, say they're not that good, and that's why William Regal basically headhunted her from NXT UK and brought her over. So of course she's going to have a match against Ember Moon, because she did say Ember Moon was something away from like being retired or something like that. She's yesterday's news. So of course this is sparking that match between them. But it looks like we're starting to really see that talent come over. See Pete Dunne has established himself here in NXT. Hopefully we can get Walter, and it looks like we're gonna get Kylie. We got her coming in. We got KLR, the former NXT Women's Champion, coming over here to NXT.
Since everybody's getting their names dropped and abbreviated, she should just be KLR.
And one of the people she did mention was Zoe Starks, saying that Zoe Starks, she was coming, was scared. That's why she went tag team with Io Shirai. But we are finally going to be getting an NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match with So we finally got our girls, Team Ninja, the TikTok tag team of Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter. I almost called her Lacey Lane, which is funny that now there's JC Jane, but then she had to change Lacey Lane to Caden Carter. I just thought it would have been funny if she would have kept her old indie name, but they're finally going to get a shot at these NXT Tag Team Championships. Do you think they stand a chance against the Genius of the Sky, Io Shirai, and Zoe Starks?
And I'm going to tell you why. Because now they started using this TikTok persona with their character, and it absolutely killed it for me. They should have just kept the Team Ninja and the synergy that they had going on. And now that they're doing the little TikTok dances while they're in the ring, that just completely turns it off for me. There's a place for you to do TikTok dances, and there's a place for wrestling. Okay, the ring is not for TikTok dances. And this goes out for Nia Jax too. Y'all should not be in there, twerking and busting the TikTok, whoa, or whatever you youngsters do. Sound like an old man now. But it just really turned me off from them too now, because, a few months ago when they came back, right? Because they've been off TV for a few months, but the time before that, when they came back as a solid unit. When Caden Catanzaro, when she did her move, that 450 corkscrew senton, I was like, whoa, like, where was that, Rico? I haven't seen that. So I'm not putting my hopes up on Team Ninja, because if you're going to be hitting a whoa inside a WWE ring, no. But
they got to be cool. Got to be with the kids, Jose. We got to do what the kids do to keep them involved.
I am, but there's just a place for you to do it. Like, you don't go. Listen, do you think your opponent is doing, a Millie Rock and hitting a whoa and busting a groove or something like that right before your match? No, that your opponent is ready to take your head off.
Were you not a fan of Too Cool, Jose? Were you not cool with Too Cool?
Oh, that's different. That's different, bro. When the lights go down, you got to put your sunglasses. Yeah, it's different.
But that was a different time. That was the right place, right time. Right now,
exactly. It's not the right time. It's just not the right time.
They think it wasn't the right time or place for poor Ikman Jiro, who, again, that's one of the younger talents going up against more steely veteran in Roderick Strong. But man, I like seeing him. I like seeing him live, and we got to watch NXT.
He's fun. He's fun to watch. Definitely a fun guy to watch. Dude, so we got some news. Tian Shaw's Mei Ying will be making her in-ring debut next week. That's big. I wonder if she's going to bust out some supernatural powers inside of the ring. WWE is known for doing that. Knowing Vince McMahon, he's probably going to want to do that, right?
Yeah, it seems like as we get closer to having them and see the producers, don't be surprised if we see some more magical phenomena happening. But it's just interesting to see. Do you think we're going to see Xia Li more on the main roster? Because we haven't seen her back on NXT, and there was some speculation that, like her and maybe some of these other guys, some of the veterans that you see here getting these wins now might be a good way of establishing them to head over to Raw or SmackDown with this upcoming draft or
I have no idea, man. I have no idea what's going on.
You did all that work to really solidify Xia Li, and to pull that away from Tian Sha kind of feels like the wrong move. But because of that, we are going to be able to see the in-ring debut of my link. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by how they're going to keep playing this up. They've done a great job of setting up this stable, even though now there's, I guess, an intergender tag at this point because they lost Eileen. But what are they going to do with her? I'm intrigued. I'm just going to, just really let it happen, whether it's going to be something magical and mysterious and, otherworldly, or she's actually going to just be dominant in the ring. We'll see.
We have King of Hueco Mundo, watching us on YouTube, saying, when CM Punk returned to wrestling, AEW became the top wrestling company. He says AEW equals good shit. Now Raw and NXT are crap shows. I mean, listen, I can't argue too much with that. I mean, and that's a lot of people that's their sentiment. A lot of people express that. However, to close out NXT, we did have a pretty good main event. Ridge Holland, Tommaso Ciampa, solid match. This was actually a really good test for Ridge Holland, to be honest with you, because Ridge has just been squashing people left and right. He really hasn't gone up against someone the likes of Tommaso Ciampa. And I'm glad that Tommaso Ciampa got the win. I'm glad that he got that because, one, it proves that Tommaso Ciampa is still one of the top dogs in the brand, right? Mm-hmm. Another point here is that, Ridge Holland is being pushed as this, big guy, one of the meanest guys in there. But if you can't pass Tommaso Ciampa, I mean, you got a problem. So this makes me wonder about Ridge Holland. I mean, what's the angle here for Ridge? I'm glad that Tommaso got the win, but what does this mean for Ridge, right? Because Ridge just came back from a pretty serious injury. I mean, what was it, like Sid Vicious kind leg break type of situation? He came from a really serious injury. He came back. You would expect him to get like this monster push as he's back, but he's not getting that monster push. What do you think the situation's here?
I think this is more about reestablishing Tommaso Ciampa than it is about establishing Ridge Holland, because I think Ridge Holland's going to be one of those guys that are going to help build this new whatever version of NXT around. It's going to be around somebody like him.
Repackaged and rebranded.
Like, I could see like MSK is kind of exactly what they're going for with the colorful kind of gear that they always have and that kind of energy. I can feel like MSK is not going around because this is what the new NXT is going to be about. But when you're talking about those solid heels that they want to have in this repackaged NXT, it's about guys like Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch, and Ridge Holland. So I think this is really one step to build up Tommaso Ciampa to how he's supposed to be. So hopefully we can get maybe a one-on-one match between Tommaso Ciampa and Samoa Joe for that NXT championship, which I think would be great. I think somebody mentioned in the comments earlier, like imagine a fatal four-way for the number one contender, where you could have Tommaso, Johnny, LA Knight, and Pete Dunne essentially have those four guys go off, and the winner faces Samoa Joe. So you still have some really good matches before you send off some of the veterans. If you're going to, again, refocus on only the younger talent, not these vets, we have seen these matches that we can get through. And I think this is really about reestablishing Tommaso Ciampa more than anything else. So don't be surprised if we have Tommaso Ciampa be the one to step up to Samoa Joe and be the next one for that NXT championship, because
I would not mind that
before we lose him. So let's get that great match here and now before, the colorful shit hits the fan and everything changes in NXT. So let's get these hard, dream matches that they want to before it happens.
NXT is gonna look like that scene from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs when the scientist presses the button, the party box, and then the whole room is just in neon colors. The next time we step inside the CWC, it's just gonna be a mess of neon colors. We have King of Hueco Mundo here commenting on YouTube, saying the NXT, the new logo is a ripoff of the AEW intro. You know what? I thought kind of the same thing. They're not the same. They're not the same logo.
Spray paint as opposed to
well, it's actually it's like a paint clouds, right, that are in the background. The letters aren't colored, right? Where this is just kind of like paint splattered, right? Yeah. So they are a little different, but I kind of thought the same thing when I first saw that logo. Let's see who else here. Sean Smith looking for some money. Me too, Sean.
Yeah, he's talking about the idea of that Victor Nash's comment that Ciampa said he'd rather retire than go to main roster. However, money talks. So, and especially I can imagine Tommaso Ciampa being on SmackDown gunning for King Nakamura's Intercontinental title. Like, how good of a match would Tommaso Ciampa versus Nakamura be? Like, I hope he at least has one run on Raw or SmackDown, preferably SmackDown. But just to have these kind of matches with these other guys that he would, other chance have a match with them. So hopefully he does not retire before going to main roster and give us one run at SmackDown. Get one IC title run or US Championship run. Then you can, ride off to the sunset.
All right, Rico. So that time of the night where we wrap things up. But before we do, how do you score NXT this week, my friend? I'm going to give it a 6, man. 6. It was flat. NXT this week just kind of fell flat on its face. It almost felt like they realized that, we're just going to get these shows out of the way before we do the whole revamp. That's just the feeling I came across the entire show. The best part of the show, Index. LA Knight, Johnny Gargano, main event. Those are the main points for me. 6. 6 is solid 6.
Yeah. We could have said the exact same thing at this exact same time because my feelings exactly. I mean, the one thing I did like, of course, is having, again, Elektra Lopez. She got some TV time when she confronted Carmelo Hayes about, don't be challenging Isaiah Scott. That is Santos's title. So, you're a rookie, so I'll let you slide on this one. So, I like that little interaction. It's great to see Elektra really starting to stand out more as a character. So I did enjoy that. Yep. That's the rest of NXT for you.
At least you're not as harsh as King of Hueco Mundo, NXT 3.5. He also commented about Raw. Raw was a huge Cleveland steamer. Y'all don't know what that is. Just look it up. I'm not going to give you the definition. I am not responsible for damaging your eyesight when you look up huge Cleveland steamer. Victor Nash, NXT was also a 6 for me. Guys, keep your comments coming in. Sound off about what you guys thought about AEW and NXT. We will get back to you on the comments. Rico, I want to thank you for joining me tonight with the show. As always, every Wednesday night, it's awesome to have you. But we're back on tomorrow on our show, Weekends of Wrestling, 8 p.m. live on Facebook and on YouTube. So make sure you give us a follow and a subscribe on YouTube, a follow and a share on Facebook as well. And we're also live on Twitch. So go ahead and give us that subscribe on the Twitch channel. For Sportskeeda Wrestling, make sure you guys follow us all weekend long. Tons of stuff coming out for All Out Weekend. We will have the post-show Sunday night. We will have live coverage from Chicago, from the Now Arena. Tons of coverage Friday night after AEW Rampage and SmackDown. We got Smack Talk with Dirty Dutch Mantel, as always. Live Monday nights, Vince Russo bashing on Raw with Dr. Chris Featherstone. Every Wednesday night, Rico and myself here on the Debrief. And every afternoon at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the top story where myself and Kevin Kellum cover the hottest trending topics in the world of wrestling. Today, we had a big, juicy story with Vince McMahon reportedly taking over the NXT production. So we'll see. Tons of stuff that we're always dropping. So make sure you're liking and subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you never, ever miss when we drop new content like we do every day. We got so much. But we want to thank you so much for Rico and Glorioso. I'm Jose G. And guys, remember, when you are watching wrestling, Rico, give him that outro.
Enjoy it. Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.